Hi, this is Ann Lance in Centennial, Colorado, and this is the OhioRAAM Show. Enjoy!
Here we are again, the OhioRAAM Show, coming to you from Southwest Ohio once again. And we're going to go, I'm not sure where we're going tonight. I think either Iowa or Wisconsin. We'll find out in a minute. But we're going to talk to Kelsey Regan, who is developing quite a remarkable record in the world of ultracycling, and we're glad to have her with us here this evening. This is the show that is about cycling, ultracycling, with a special emphasis on the race across America, but we're moving into a lot of different areas, and it's about ultracycling tonight. We are sponsored by the first two time stations in Ohio, time stations 41 in Oxford and time stations 42 in Blanchester, Ohio. And if you heard a buzzing, I have no idea what that is. It's been going on here in my ear. Whether you're hearing it or not, I don't know. Do you hear it, Kelsey?
Yeah, I just got a text message. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's you. All right. Don't worry about it. I was thinking I've had some technical issues here on this end. That's, who knows? It's been, as I told Kelsey, an interesting day for me. But here we are, and we're ready to talk to Kelsey. I'm Lee Kreider, and here we are in the fourth season, and happy to have Kelsey with us tonight. How are you doing tonight, Kelsey?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be here. It's such an honor. You have so many amazing cyclists on here who have done RAAM or qualified for RAAM, and here I am. I haven't even biked 400 miles yet. So thank you for choosing me to be on the show.
Well, you're on here because you're an amazing cyclist. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But where are you, in Wisconsin tonight?
Yes, I just moved to Wisconsin about a month ago. I lived in Iowa all my life, and I just finished grad school at Iowa State University. I finished my master's in July and moved right here. So starting the new adventure.
And your master's is what?
Agricultural engineering and sustainable agriculture.
Okay. Well, there's going to be a lot of people here on the show that's interested in that. Let me adjust the camera here a little bit. Interested in that feature. What do you tell me what you're doing? You have it here in front of me in your CV, but what are you up to there?
I am actually starting my own organic vegetable farm. It's something I've really wanted to do for a long time. My dad grew up on a farm, and he owns some of the family farmland here. And so I've always wanted to move here and start a farm, and it just kind of worked out this year that I was able to make, or at least start the process of making that happen. I moved here in July, so it's too late to start farming now, but next spring I'll start production for my farm.
And what kind of vegetables you going to grow on this farm?
Oh, all sorts of things. I hope to grow at least 20 different types of vegetables, and have a pretty diversified farm and sell vegetables at farmers markets and grocery stores and things like that. It seems to be a pretty big, there seems to be a pretty big demand, at least in this area, and I think in other parts of the country, for fresh, local, organic food. So I hope it works out.
Well, I hope so too. That's a significant undertaking, and I think there seems to be a market for homegrown. Everybody's pushing, buy local, and I think you're fitting right into that niche that seems to be coming along.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, let's talk a little bit here about Kelsey as cyclist and how you happen to stumble into or get into cycling. You haven't been involved in it all that long, have you? Well, you can't.
No.
At your age. Yeah.
I got my first road bike 4 years ago, and I literally just walked into the local bike shop and said, I want to get a road bike. I just want to do RAAM, which is a week-long ride across Iowa, more of a party than a physical challenge.
Well,
And I told the salesman, I was like, I'm probably never going to bike more than 50 miles in a day. And so I ended up with a decent bike. It's just an aluminum entry-level specialized road bike. And right away, I kind of had this desire to see how far I could go if I didn't stop. And I had actually been a runner before that, and I got injured. I ran in college for a year and got injured and wasn't able to continue running. So I switched to biking and just kind of took off with that. It actually wasn't easy at first. I actually hated biking just because of the time commitment it takes and all the mechanical stuff. With running, you just kind of put on your shoes and go.
Yep.
But biking is a little bit more complicated. But once I kind of figured it out, it got to be more fun. And I'm very happy to have found this sport.
So you start out with doing RAAM, which I think a lot of people here know about, the ride across Iowa, which turns out, how many people come out for that, Kelsey? It's a big...
It's over 20,000. It's crazy. People come from all over.
And I've never done RAAM, but a lot of friends who have, but it seems to me there's a lot of beer involved in this ride, isn't there?
I don't know how these people do it. I mean, they'll go to a bar at 8 a.m. and then stop in the next town 10 miles away and just keep drinking and biking. I can't do that. I'm not much of a partier in that way.
Well, me either. I don't drink beer. I don't like the stuff. But anyhow, that's what I understand is there. And I've been on a lot of rides where some of my friends of mine get pretty well stewed. And I thought, how are they going to get up in the morning and go anywhere? But they seem to manage to do it. I know also when riding with people in England, they seem to be able to put down quite a few. Their stuff's a little heavier over there. You get into ultracycling. How do you find out about it? Because, it's not well known. Did somebody cue you in on this, or what happened?
No, actually, so I met someone who had done a bike tour, and this was before I was really into biking. This was in my phase where I didn't like biking. And I needed something to do with my life once I quit running. I needed a new challenge. I kind of felt like my life had become too boring and normal. And so after this guy had told me about bike touring, I was like, oh, I'll go on a bike tour. And I literally knew nothing about bikes at the time. I had only ridden my road bike a few times. I'd never been bike touring before, but I just got all the gear I needed. I got the panniers and just started biking. I had 3 weeks off between when the semester ended for school and when my internship started. So I just got on my bike and went, and I didn't even know how to change a flat tire at the time. It was so funny. Got a flat tire like 26 miles from my house, and I watched a YouTube video on my phone to figure out how to do
it. Thank you. Where would we be without YouTube? Every time I want to fix something around the house, I say, well, there's got to be a video on how to do this.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have all this information available to us. So my goal was to make it from my house in Davenport, Iowa, up to Lake Superior in northern Wisconsin, and that was going to be about 500 miles. And I had 3 weeks to get there and back. So it took me about a week, and I made it all the way to the top of Wisconsin. And I had never done anything that physically extreme before. So I was really, really proud of myself for getting there. I honestly didn't think I would make it. I thought I would have to call my parents and have them come pick me up or something. But when I got up there, this idea popped into my head. It was like, how far could I go if I just didn't stop? And I knew for sure I could do 100 miles because I'd been doing like 70 to 80 every day for that past week. So it's like, I wonder if a 200-mile bike race exists. And so I looked it up, and it took me straight to the Google search, took me straight to the UMCA website. And I was like, oh, wow, there are people who actually do this. I'm not alone in my craziness.
The crazies of the world, you found right into them, didn't you?
Exactly. And yeah, and right away I found the list of cross state records, and that was really something that interests me. I was really surprised to see that so few women had set records, cross state records. I think I counted there's like 17 or so states that have women's records, which is a very low number. I saw that no woman had done Iowa or Wisconsin before. So I started with Iowa last year, my home state, and I made it. And that was 280 miles, which was a challenge for me. That was the farthest I had biked at that time. And there were a lot of problems along the way. There was a headwind. So I was really happy to do that. It's so fun to be able to say that you can bike across the state in a day. It's definitely a big accomplishment to say you do a 200-mile race or a bike 300 miles in 24 hours, but to say you bike across the state, I think it puts it more in perspective to people who aren't cyclists. They know that that's a really long ways. So
Well, Kelsey, something just occurred to me, and I have some other information on the website, OhioRAAMshow.com, but I really ought to put the link up there to the UMCA site, and maybe even the link to those state records. There's so many opportunities for people. As I've said, with some of the new things they're doing there, it's possible for almost anybody to be a record holder.
yeah, yeah. Some are definitely more challenging than others, but I mean, my goal is to set a record in every state, and if I have to ride a recumbent trike to do it, I will.
Yeah, well, they have a new thing. I don't know if you've noticed that, Kelsey, or not, but they have this capital to capital records.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I've
you
seen
can do
that.
this from state capital to state capital or province to province, depending where you're at, or international capital to international capital. And I think one of the first record holders there was set by our good friend Valerio Zamboni from Monaco, who
Okay.
set the record from the city-state of Monaco to the city-state of San Marco, which are,
Hmm.
both they're both countries. They're one of those mini countries that exist in Europe. So he found a record right off the bat. And so like I said, with here in the United States, with 48 contiguous states, see, it'd be 48 times 48, or would it be 48 to the 48th power? I have to think about my mathematics there. How many different record opportunities there are out there for
Hmm.
almost anyone. So
Hmm.
anyhow, I said I might try for the Italy to the Vatican record, which would be about 3 miles, I think. But Kelsey, you have two state records under your belt, don't you?
Yep, I just did Wisconsin a week and a half ago.
So you have the Iowa record. Now, is what Wisconsin, is that your home state, Kelsey, Wisconsin?
I'm from Iowa originally. I lived there all my life until just a month ago. My
Okay.
parents are both from Wisconsin, so I have a lot of
Okay.
family.
All right, I get that straight. But according to this, you did 280 miles across Iowa in 19 hours and 24 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And that's a woman's record, or is that an overall record?
That's the women's record.
Women's record, okay. And then your Wisconsin time was how far in the time?
That was 380 miles in 22 hours and 4 minutes.
Well, you said that you hadn't done 400 miles, but you're getting pretty close there. If you don't, Kelsey, if you're not careful, you got to be careful about this. Some people, this is dangerous. This is dangerous territory. You just might find yourself qualified for RAM one of these days.
I know. I don't know how I would ever make that happen. I mean, I'd love to do RAM, but I think the financial and the time aspect of it might be a little too much for me.
It's a major financial commitment, but it's something that you might think about in the future. But ultra racing itself has a lot of opportunities and a lot of things going for it. So tell me, Kelsey, what's in your future as far as cycling goes? What plans, hopes, dreams do you have?
Well, I'm doing the 508 next.
Ah, okay. The Silver State 508, and that's in Nevada, and that's
Yep.
coming up when? It's I forget when that is. You remember?
It's September 19th is
Yeah,
when it's.
thought it was September. It's coming up, so that'll be coming up. Well, that you're going to meet a lot of people there that might get to see you here ahead of time, and you'll enjoy that. I think that's they had to change their route over there because of some problems with the national parks and what have you. But it seems to me that their new route, people seem to like that quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge for me because I've never biked in mountains before, and it looks like I'll be climbing for over 10 miles in some cases, so we'll see how that
Well,
goes.
it's
But
just riding uphill. I mean, just don't get freaked out about it. I always kind of like climbing, but I was afraid of descending myself. But that's a whole other story. So
yeah.
you have a blog, don't you?
Yeah, I started that recently. Um yeah, I do some race reports, but my goal for my blog is to use it more to connect with other crazy ultra cyclists like myself, and share some fun stories that I think kind of explore what it means to be an ultra cyclist, and also share some information to help people who are new to ultra cycling or just want to learn more about the sport, I guess.
Okay,
Um,
well, Kelsey, I will put a link to your blog in the show notes, which will be right below where the video is. If you're watching on the OhioRAAMshow.com website, it'll be right below there. There'll be a link to her blog, which is interesting reading. And also, if you're watching the show on YouTube or if you're watching it on one of the other sites that embed the playlist for the show, you will have to go to the OhioRAAMshow.com to see that and find that link. But it'll be right there. We'll put it up, and so you can follow Kelsey along. Kelsey, you're on the show because of two things. First of all, you're on the show because of the website that John Foote runs, ultraracenews.com. That's where I first spotted that name. For those of you who are interested in ultra racing or sounds like it might be fascinating, like to follow the sport, there's a good place to go. Almost everything you want to know about ultra racing, from what's happened, what's going to happen, gear, training, nutrition, schedule for events, it's all right there, and it's just a good resource for all that type of thing. We thank John for doing a wonderful job there. So that's where you first cropped up. And then, as I've said to people who I've had on the show or I've met or talked, I said, who do you think would make somebody a good person to have on the show? Over and over again, your name kept cropping up. Kelsey says, you should get Kelsey Regan on the show. Well, here you are. And
yeah.
thank you for being here.
Yeah, I think one of the people who recommended me was Val Litznerski.
She
She's
was
one of the
one.
first, yeah.
And well, I won't start naming names, but there was more than two. Let's put it that way.
Oh, wow.
So you've kind of made an impression in the field. We are looking forward to see more of you in the future, Kelsey, and be watching all the records and see them pop up and so forth. Anything else besides 508 you got in your headlights?
Another cross state record next year, hopefully.
What one you think you'll go after next year?
Probably Illinois. That's
Illinois.
closer.
Keep close to home.
Yep. And I expand. I'd like to do one every year. So by the time I'm 73, I'll have them all.
Well, as you get closer, or like Indiana or Ohio, I hope keep me in mind, and maybe we'll pop in there and try to do a little show around one of your record attempts.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be great fun. So, want to thank you for being here with us this evening, Kelsey. Before we wind this thing up, and I think I'd better because I'm off in left field somewhere. Anything you'd like to say to us before we go away? Anything we missed you'd like to talk about or tell us about? Or
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, one of the things I've been working on is using social media to promote ultracycling events. I feel like a lot of times local news media doesn't quite pick it up, and so few people know that the sport exists, like you said earlier. But I think that social media is a good way to connect ultracycling with the rest of the world, as well as connect other ultracyclists with each other. So I've been using both Instagram and Twitter, and also my blog, to kind of hopefully show other people that ultracycling is fun. And hopefully that can be a way to promote the sport through getting possibly sponsors, people to provide gear, just help out people who want to do these crazy adventures.
okay,
So
well, yeah, Kelsey, you're doing a good job of that. That you're just right in line with the mission of the OhioRAAM show, and I want to thank you for taking time to be here. For those of you who would like to help with doing what she's doing, there's ways you can do that. Kelsey's blog, letting people know about her blog and letting her know about the name of Kelsey, I think that's a good thing to do in the future to help the show advance. You can help it advance by on the social media, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, wherever you happen to be. Just say, give us a like, give us a share, tell them about this show with Kelsey on it. Anything that advances that cause not only makes Kelsey better known around the country and around the world, but it advances the cause of ultracycling, which is what we're trying to do here, Kelsey. And you're doing a really great job doing that yourself, and we're going to work at this together. I know there are people who follow you, and there are people who follow me on social media, and follow all the people who are watching here who never heard of ultracycling, but they're a friend of yours, they're a follower. If you'd multiply all the people who are following ultracycling by the people who they have following them, it would turn out to be many, many thousands. And so that's what we're trying to do here. We thank you for being with us. We thank you, those of you who help us with advancing the show. If you want to go to OhioRAAMshow.com, there's a place there where you can put your email address in so you get show notifications and some other information, including archives of all the past shows. So, Kelsey, again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank all of you for watching. We hope that all of you have a very pleasant rest of however much of the day is left, wherever you live, wherever in the world. Good night.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.